good evening, or perhaps good morning or good afternoon, depending upon where you find yourself in the world. Welcome, parents, to the Middle School Back to School Night for Humanities. My name is Mark D'Oliveira. I'm the Social Studies lead here at AES in the middle school. First of all, I want to make sure that our questions, or your questions, I should say, are addressed. The way we do that in a webinar like this is we use the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen. All you do is press on that, a comment box will come up. Please, we ask that you limit your comment to one question only per comment. You can put another comment in with another question, but just keep the questions separate. That would be very helpful to us so we can address them individually. Note that we also may hold off on answering some questions if we know that they will be discussed during the presentation. And also, at the end, we'll have a Q&A so that we can actually make sure that we've addressed all the questions that have come up generally for everyone. If there's something very specific to your child that you need addressed, please make sure to email the teacher directly so that they can address that individually with you and privately. So for today, we'll introduce ourselves, the whole Humanities team. You'll find out what learning looks like. I'll explain that in Humanities. Ms. Almoreno is going to discuss how your child is currently working on the Readers and Writers Workshop. And finally, as I said before, we'll end with a Q&A.
Hello there, parents. My name is Mark D'Oliveira, and I am the Social Studies lead here at AES Middle School. I am also a teacher. I teach both Humanities in 8th grade and Social Studies in 7th grade. I'm beginning my 16th year of teaching this year. I'm originally from outside of Chicago. I've spent most of my life, my adult life that is, overseas, either teaching in international schools or before that I was in the Army and we were stationed in different places overseas. This is my 7th year here at AES, but I did that in 2 parts. The first part was in 2010 to 2013. The second part started in 2017 up until now. We were following my wife around for her career as a diplomat the first time. Then we went to Thailand for 4 years with her job again. And then I came back here because I really wanted to be a part of this AES community again, where they're amazing. We live in an amazing city. We live in an amazing country. And this school has an amazing group of educators to work with. My family, obviously, Jackie's a diplomat at the embassy, but my daughters, we have 2. One is a senior in college at Ithaca College studying physical therapy, and my younger daughter is a senior in high school here. Hard to believe. They've both been through international schools most of their educational life, and so that's really helped inform my practice, and I think it really helps me help you as parents. Look forward to meeting you.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Zadu, and I have been at AES Middle School for the last 2 years. This is my 2nd year, actually. And I come from teaching high school social studies and history for the last 13 years in 4 other countries. I've really enjoyed working with this amazing team and having the opportunity to get to know your kids as amazing individuals. They're so fun, and the things that they have to express and share with us has been quite a treat. It's been pretty tough with the whole Zoom thing, but we have been having a lot of fun this year already, getting to know each other in various ways. And I look forward to the rest of the school year with them.
Hi, I'm Courtney Almoreno, and I'm the English Language Arts Department lead, as well as an instructional coach in the middle school and an 8th grade humanities teacher this year. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington, but I've lived overseas for my entire adult life. As soon as I graduated college and got my teaching degree, I moved to the American International School of Muscat in Oman, and where I spent 5 years teaching middle school language arts and middle school social studies, as well as dabbling a little bit in high school, but I came running back to middle school because I love it so much. I spent 5 years in Oman, met my husband, got married, and moved to New Delhi, where my husband and I started a family. So we're starting our 9th year here at AES, and we love it. And it's my 14th year teaching middle school, which goes to show just how much I love this age level. I'm really excited to continue to get to know your kids this year. For a lot of them, whether I was their teacher last year or not, if they were at AES, I probably got to know them pretty well. So I'm excited to continue to get to know them and have a second year with them, especially during this kind of weird time. And I also am a mom of two littles at AES. My son Zimri is in first grade and my daughter Shanti is in kindergarten. And so I know how hard this can be of facilitating learning at home. So if you ever have any questions or want some support, just reach out to me and maybe we can empathize with one another, or I can share some strategies of how you might make it work at home.
Okay, folks, so what we want to start off with is looking at what learning looks like in humanities. So in 8th grade, humanities, that word that we use with the 8th grade students, it's a little different than what maybe the kids from last year that were here last year in 7th grade were used to. They had social studies and language arts in separate classes. Humanities is both of those classes combined. That's why we have humanities every school day instead of every other school day like the other classes. In this course, we engage with the social studies through language arts. Now, what that means is social studies is 4 big subcategories. We've got civics, economics, history, and geography. Those are the big areas. There's lots of sub-areas within those, but we engage those big areas and the content from them with our language arts skills. So our reading, our writing, and our speaking skills. Our year-long theme, what we'll talk about all year, is this concept of power and how people use it in the world. Our essential questions are these. For the whole year, we'll be thinking about these big questions. How does literature deepen and inform our understanding? How does power shape our world? And how does the past affect the present and the future? The concepts we'll explore are these that you see in front of you. We won't go into each and every one of these in depth as a group, but there will be opportunities for students in their individual projects to go more in depth in certain ones of these as they move through the course of the year. Our year at a glance, here it is. Let's go over what it looks like. We're starting off the year right now. We're in the middle of our Power and Identity unit. That's really a Readers and Writers Workshop launch. And so it gets them developing their reading and writing skills, or just remembering them from last year and taking them forward and building on what they already have. And so we'll be doing that until just about the first week of September. Ms. Almarino is going to talk about that a little bit more right after I'm done here. Power and Media is the next unit. It starts in September. We've got modern media literacy. That's where we really look closely at things that we're seeing in the current events around us. So we read more newspapers and magazine articles and articles online and that kind of thing. And one of the things we'll focus on throughout that unit is the concept of claim testing. Now, claim testing, a claim is what somebody makes when they write an article. Okay, and so we want to be able to figure out how can we test the claim that they're making. Do they have the evidence they need to support that? Do they have other evidence? That kind of thing. So it really gets them critically thinking about what they're finding in the media. Then our third unit's Power and Control. That'll start in October. We'll examine history and geography and civics through a dystopian book club. Now, dystopian is a fancy word for science fiction. It's just looking a little bit into a future where things have gone awry. So those are fictional novels that we'll be looking at, but we'll be examining history and geography and civics through them because they have a lot of elements from the real world that we see today around us. Persuasive writing will be a focus. And then we'll also, at the same time, look closely at point of view and how important that is when you're writing persuasively. And we'll read several articles to figure out what point of view does to how people write. Story of control is really just that overarching idea of how people use power to control others. And then we're going to connect that, of course, to our previous unit where we discussed the modern media. Power and problem solving starts in January, so that's after the first semester is all done into the second semester. That is the semester we also launch our POP project that's 8th grade wide. So we have this big project that all 8th graders do, and it starts at the beginning of the second semester. The biggest part of that project some will say, is our position papers that we write in humanities. Now, the research skills and the writing skills are what we're working on in humanities to develop and support their writing of that paper for the project. They get the choice of what they want to focus on. And this is where they will dive into, perhaps it's something focused on history and economics, perhaps it's geography and civics, perhaps it's all four of them in some way. Then we will also be reading some contemporary fiction to really develop the critical literacy skills. Power and Change is the month of April, a super short unit. It's only 4 weeks long. We'll study the lives of history's change makers. And then finally, in May, let me move my video up for you so you can see it, is the final unit that we call Empower, where we really focus on thinking about and writing about taking responsibility for a better future and perhaps even acting on that. And that's where we will also have some social issue book clubs to really stimulate their thinking and discussions around the subject of empowerment. Okay, that is our year in a nutshell. And now for Miss Almerino, she's going to discuss the Readers and Writers Workshop, which we're in the middle of right now, so you have an understanding of what's happening in class right now. Thank you.
Language arts in the humanities model focuses on independence and choice all year long. We have discrete language arts units. They're focused on language arts skills, but they're complementary to social studies units. So we weave in narrative writing, informational writing, argument writing, reading and writing poetry, reading literature, and informational reading. With these units, we want to make sure that we are helping kids build a vibrant, independent reading and writing life, but also embedding those skills in their social studies. Right now, at the start of the year, we're launching their reading and writing workshop. We felt that it was best to start the year really reigniting the independent reading and writing lives and building in the routines and structures that the kids are going to use all year long. So we're spending a lot of time laying the foundation for independent reading and writing, that they're gonna use all of these things all year long, and it'll sort of be the undercurrent to the entire year. Right now, we're also gathering baseline assessments. We're trying to figure out who your kids are as readers and writers. So they're making reading life timelines. They're talking to us about what kind of writers they are. We're gathering a bunch of data that we're looking at as teachers, and then throughout this unit, and especially at the end, we're going to put that portfolio back to them and say, okay, so what do you know about yourself as a reader and a writer? Who are you? And where are your strengths? Where are your areas for growth? We certainly have some ideas about that. And it'll be a conversation between teachers and students and hopefully parents about where these kids are with their literacy and where they might go. It has to be teamwork. And so we make sure that we spend quite a bit of time on that at the beginning of the year, so the students feel that they're empowered to make decisions for themselves about their reading and writing lives.
Okay, so we're about to move into our question and answer session. Before we do that, however, I would like to make sure that you have in front of you the way to contact all three of us. Email is a great method to get to us. So here they are. If your child's in Ms. Ledoux's class, here is her email. If your child's in my class, here's mine. And finally, if your child's in Ms. Almerino's class, there's her email. Thank you, and I look forward to our Q&A session, and I appreciate you being here for our back to school night.
Okay, thank you, Humanities team. So parents, we have some time now. If you have any specific questions, you've got the experts in the room. That's not me or Serena, by the way. That would be Courtney, Mark, and Liz. If you have anything specific you'd like to ask them about the coursework, like Mark said before, questions specifically relating to your child and their learning is always best dealt either in an email or a Zoom chat with a teacher. But if you've got anything general you want to ask us right now about those courses in relation to learning at AES, please type your questions. Otherwise, our team's just going to sit here and be quite bored.
Clearly you guys did some amazing explaining, so well done, team.
I don't know if we're getting any, well, Jag said it looks like an exciting program. I would agree, Jag. I think that's it is very exciting. Some of the writing and the reading and the way that it's going to weave together this year, I think is going to be pretty awesome. So watch this space. Any other questions? Oh, here we go. We have a question. It's a question about Google notifications, if we have not received any yet. Do one of you three want to take that one? Liz?
I'll go ahead and make sure that you'll be notified, and I can take care of that today. Sorry about that. I think I have to invite you, and then you can respond.
Thanks. That's perfect, Liz. Okay. Are there any other questions that we would like to, or that people need help with? That's a really good example of something that we can help you with right now.
There is one question there that's more general over humanities. So while people are still writing their humanities questions, I'll answer this one. Everyone, the question was about signing up for these back to school night presentations. Parents do have to register for them. So you received an email on Sunday from me. In it was the table that had all the sessions at what time they're on for tomorrow and Wednesday. And each one of those was a link. If you click on that link, you can register to attend the presentation. So you just need to click on each link. You do have to click on each one individually, because for security measures, it's important that we have a record of everyone that was attending the meetings. And so just you click on those links, and then the system will send you an email with the actual Zoom link of how to attend the next few meetings. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Otherwise, if you are unable to attend any of the meetings, we're recording all of them, and we will be sharing every single one of the links in our weekly communication on Friday. So if you do happen to miss one, you'll be able to watch it later on. And at any time, you can email the teachers in any of the subjects, and they will certainly be able to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, any other questions out there? Not that we're going to force you to ask questions, obviously, but this is your opportunity if you've got a general question. Well, we're not going to force you all to sit here and stare at us on the screen. All right, so that's a good question around Zoom sessions for humanities. I don't know, Courtney or Mark, if you want to take that or just give some general guidance.
I'll go ahead and answer since I'm Nick's teacher. For the moment, we're doing once a week because I'm still in the States for one reason, and also we'll open up sessions where we're doing one-on-one, and then starting, I think, in a week and a half from now, I'll be doing them more regularly and like almost every day. So that won't be so much of an issue.
Thank you, Liz. And then a question around the number of years that students have humanities. Currently that is 8th grade, but effectively over the course of middle school, grade 6, 7 and 8, students effectively take English language arts and social studies. So the time that they spend in those is the same at each grade level. It's just a slightly different format in 8th grade in the form of humanities. I think that would be a fair statement, wouldn't it, panelists? Courtney, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I'll take Kim's question. with a literature background, we weave in a ton of literature. Right now, actually, that's our big focus, is we're going to ground them in reading independent literature while we're doing a read aloud. And then throughout the year, it's going to be a lot of literature. We have put in, as I said before, and I think Mark touched on, we've got actually, while it is a humanities model, thematically tying us together with power, we really do have very discrete language arts units and social studies units. And sure, during a language arts unit, we will revisit, and there will be an undercurrent of saying, hey, how might you think about this in the social studies way, and link it in where it does link in and where we can link it in. And we've designed the curriculum to open up those opportunities, but we will be very focused on literature during a literature unit. And we will be very focused on informational reading and informational writing when it's a social studies unit. And really why we put those discrete units in was to ensure that narrative writing and exploring fiction and literature was an integral part of the program. So I promise you that will not be lost.
Thank you, Courtney. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up this session tonight. We want to thank all you 8th grade parents. You got to go last tonight. Don't forget to check the schedule for tomorrow, as Serena said, and register for the webinars. You may not necessarily need to attend all of them, but they are recorded as well if they don't fit with your time zone. So you'll still be able to get the information if later on you're also like, oh, wow, yeah, maybe I should have gone. Don't stress, you'll be able to get access to those webinars. But thank you so much for coming tonight. We're excited for the year ahead. And if you do have questions after this, don't panic, you can still send them our way. So thank you for coming, and we wish you all a good evening.